Howdy do Who fans, and welcome to the Big Blue Box podcast. My name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And welcome to episode 203.
Have you ever thought what it's like to be wanderers in the fourth dimension?
Nobody in the universe can do what we're doing.
I've reversed the polarity of the neutron flow, so the TARDIS should be free of the force field now.
There's no point in being grown up if you can't be childish sometimes.
The trouble with time travel is, one never seems to find the time.
Change, my dear, and it seems not a moment too soon.
Unlimited rice pudding, etc., etc.
I am the Doctor!
Great men are forged in fire. It is the privilege of lesser men to light the flame.
I'm the Doctor. This is Rose Tyler. She's my plus one. Is that all right?
That would be me.
Hello. Surprise!
Boom.
Etc.
I'm the Doctor. Do everything I tell you. Don't ask stupid questions. And don't wander off.
I've got new kidneys! I don't like the colour.
Howdy do Who fans. We hope you've all had a cracking week and that you've all managed to do something Doctor Who related. Yeah.
Just thinking it won't be long before you've got to add Jodie into that intro.
That you're,
Yeah.
correct, Amondos.
Yeah. Are you going to wait and pick out and clip from episode 1, or are you just going to go with the one line we've got? Brilliant.
I might wait.
Or are you going to wait to the end of the series?
Oh, I don't know.
No.
Decisions. I'm not sure, mate.
Oh. Yeah.
Interesting.
We need her in there.
Brilliant.
Brilliant.
Who knows? Who knows? Spooky goings on after last week's episode.
I know. Yeah.
When you and I were talking about the sort of hype train leading up to Series 11, you said, I just want another trailer.
Yeah, I want another trailer.
Yeah, I just want one more trailer just to get something to sink the teeth into and get hyped up and excited a little bit more. And we were like, yeah, maybe, could be. Chivers might throw one out, who knows? And then literally within a day or two, it was there. Bosh.
Yeah, I know.
There you go. Which will come on to in a little while. Yeah.
It's because Chivers listens to the podcast, I expect. He's probably heard it and thought, I will. I'll let him have one.
I suspect that's what it was.
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
Yeah. He's like, these lads have got it again. Bang on. Let's go. All right. Trailer out, quick.
Come on. Just thinking, actually, it's just over a week, isn't it now?
Yeah.
Until it airs. Yeah, that's quite incredible because it's. The weeks are flying by. Because I was thinking, it seems like yesterday we were saying, 3 weeks from now, and I don't know, I feel like I've lost a week somewhere. I'm not complaining because the sooner the better, but it's quite incredible to think about a week from now. We'll be watching it just over a week. Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah. It does feel a bit timey-wimey. It feels like, although we did say that right at the beginning when Jodie was announced and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, it's over a year. That'll fly by. And it has to a degree.
It doesn't feel like, it does feel, the wait for this one does feel longer, actually, I must admit, which is not a bad thing because, again, it's ramped my anticipation levels up a bit more. So, in a way, I've quite liked having this break because I'm so excited for the new series. So but it does feel a little bit longer, if you know what I mean. Like when we were saying about Series 10, saying it'll be here before you know it did feel like it was here before we knew it. Like, all right, so but won't be long.
It won't be. And it's really cool. We'll come on to the trailer in a little while, but it's great to see everybody. If you think about when Jodie was announced ages ago, we did go through a couple of weeks worth of sort of up and down of opinions and emotions on Twitter and so on. It kind of went nuts, didn't it, for a while? We had people saying it's, the show's now dead because they've announced a female Doctor and it's going to end and it's all crap. And other people saying, no, this is brilliant. And then we have people on the fence. But it seems now that it does seem overall more positive now that we've seen more of her and we've seen trailers and we've seen the Comic-Con panel, all that stuff. Now that the fans have got something, because in a way it's great that Chivers just kept everything so secret. That was very cool, and it's still very cool. because even the latest trailer doesn't give away too much. There is also that danger that it could potentially alienate fans who are not convinced at the casting of Jodie and so on. And so they need they're handheld a bit more to say, look, come on, it's going to be cool. Have a bit of trust and faith. But they're like, no. So, but overall, especially since this other trailer's dropped recently, I haven't seen as many tweets and so on with people saying, oh, this is dreadful and the show's going to be killed off now and all that stuff. I haven't seen as much of that. I've seen the odd one, but overall it's been very cool.
Yeah, no, I was going to say the same, actually. I think, the majority of stuff I'm seeing now is definitely very positive. I still see the odd comment, and it really bugs me, actually, but I try not to. I just think the best way to handle those comments, because I get a few on my YouTube videos as well, like when I've reviewed some of the 13th Doctor merch, they're like, well, Doctor Who died when... I'm like, do you know what? Just don't. I don't even bother replying. I think the best way is if that person's made up their mind that Doctor Who's dead because they've cast a female Doctor, then fine, that's up to you, but it's your loss, basically. If you're of that opinion, then I just don't have the time for it. I'm just like, okay, that's your opinion, fine, I'm going to enjoy the series, goodbye, sort of thing. But you've got 50 years worth of DVDs to watch if that's your thing. There's plenty of Doctor Who out there for you to enjoy if you really feel like that. But I like you, I think a lot of it's quite positive now, and I don't know about you, I think the promotion, although it seemed a long time coming, I think it's ramped up quite nicely, actually. A lot of people are saying, BBC haven't promoted it very well, all this sort of thing, but I don't know, I think the trailers are good, and I've seen that little breaking the ceiling promo loads actually on the TV. That's been on the TV all the time.
They've done some radio stuff as well, I think. Radio something, they've done some promos on there.
Yeah, I don't know if they've done any billboards. I do like a billboard, but I don't know if they actually did that in the end. But it would be cool if they'd done some of that. But no, I think overall it's ramped up quite nicely as far as I'm concerned. I'm certainly buzzing for it. I don't know about sort of the average person on the street. I'll have to ask my mum, because she's a teacher. And she said that her kids used to love Doctor Who. And she said, I've noticed they don't really talk about it anymore. And I'll have to ask, is any of your kids excited for the new series? Because that's a good sort of idea of if it's reaching that audience again.
Absolutely,
Yeah, I'll have to ask her. But
one thing I will say is I think a lot of people have been spoiled over the past few years, if that makes sense. They've been spoiled because when the Moth was running things, we would have everything thrown at us fairly early. So with like 6 months left before it was going to go on TV, we would know every title of every episode. We'd know every alien, every monster, and we'd have 1,000 images from sets and all that stuff. So I think we've just been spoiled in a way. I think it was potentially overkill previously, but...
I know what you mean. I was going to say, because I was saying the other day, like someone was saying, not much promotion. This is like a few weeks back. And I was saying, I know, but it's still 6 weeks till the show's on. Like, they don't really advertise stuff that early anyway for any show.
Exactly.
And then, exactly. But then the other night we're watching the Bodyguard final, and at the end they play a trailer for Line of Duty, which isn't out till next year. And I'm like, okay, that's blown that out of the water then. But no, generally they don't. Generally about a month before, it's still pretty good going to advertise what I think is going to be, they're hoping it's going to be a successful series for them. I'm certainly hoping so, so.
I think they're just doing like the normal sort of promotion that most TV shows, that's what I mean. It's people start to complain, but it's like, they're just doing what the average new TV show or new series of a show would do. We've just been extremely spoiled over the last few years, and now we've become accustomed to it. It's like, why haven't we got all of the set and location pictures, and why haven't we got all of this stuff? And so the Chibbers is range. Do you know what? I've got a huge amount of respect for the Chibbers, because he seems to have just grabbed the BBC by the scruff of the neck, or that's what it feels like. It's grabbed them by the scruff and thrown them into this room and closed the door. And he's like, look, I'm going to tell you this one time, and one time only. The way you've done things is beep.
This is how I'm going to do it.
I'm running things now. So let's get that. It seems like he's just really taken control of all of the not just overseeing how the show's written and produced and, you know, how it's put out there, but literally all of the marketing and trailers and secrecy and just keeping a real hold on everything. A lot of respect for him for that, because it can't have been easy. If he ever does a book in many years' time, or if he talks about this in an interview, I would imagine he will say something like, it was incredibly hard. Because the BBC, I've heard this a few times about other TV shows where other producers have come on, or directors, or whoever it might be, and they typically say similar things about the BBC, that they can be very kind of set in their ways almost.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the big chiefs at the top who expect everything in the world for next to no money. And then you've got the people in the middle who are trying to provide that, but also, you know, write a good TV show for fans and all the rest of it. And it can be a bit of a wheel that just keeps turning, and it's very difficult to steer it in another direction. So I imagine he will allude to something like, it was incredibly difficult to say to the people at the top, look, you've got to trust me. I know that we've done things this way for years, but, you know, and I don't mean to be rude, but, and this is a fact, you know, we can't get away from it. The ratings have declined steadily over the years. We can't get away from that. So he's probably like, look, I know this is the case, but look, ratings have declined. We've got a whole new world to crack on with. Just trust me. Let's do it this way and we'll see what happens. So, yes, a lot of time for the Chibbers.
Also, I read recently as well that he was insistent that he would only take the job if he could have a female doctor as well. Yeah. So he'd obviously clearly got this idea in mind, you know, from the get-go, which has led a lot of people to say, see, I knew Capaldi was pushed out and blah, blah, blah. But no, I think the way I've read it, if you read the interview, is he says Peter had decided to go. You know, he had decided he wanted to leave. I was offered the job and I said, you know, I'll take it if I can have a female doctor. So it's it's not the other way round. It's not like, you know, Capaldi was still deciding and Chibbers come in and said, well, I'll take over, but I want a female doctor. And they were like, well, push Capaldi out the door. That's not how it happened. Although, you could read into that if you wanted to, but that's not, you know, the Chibbers says that's not how it happened. Capaldi decided he wanted to leave. I was up for taking over, but I had certain conditions. And like you said, he went in with his ideas. I think I remember him saying this at the time, that he had this sort of plan for the series and was amazed, you know, that the BBC just basically didn't sort of ask him to change anything, or they just went, okay, fine.
Yeah, that's cool.
And he's like, okay, cool. Because, you know, that's the thing. I think maybe they felt like, well, you know, looking at the ratings and stuff, let's take a punt, because what have we got to lose, sort of thing.
They had to.
So, yeah. But it's good. I like the fact he's gone in with a plan. He knows what he wants to do. He's bringing his vision to the screen. We'll get to see that vision and we'll decide for ourselves. But certainly at the minute, it's looking pretty good.
It is looking good.
Yeah.
Have you been up to anything Doctor Who related, buddy, over the past week?
Well, a couple of little bits. I bought my ticket for the Earthshock at the BFI, which we talked about last week, didn't we? Tickets went on sale. So I've bagged my ticket for that. So have you. So we'll be at the BFI for the Earthshock event. Very excited for that, because obviously Eric Saywood, Matthew Waterhouse on stage, and we get to see Earthshock in HD. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. Talking of BFI, I was there at the weekend actually not for a Doctor Who event, but for they did a screening of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which I absolutely love. This is the TV show, to be clear, not the Martin Freeman movie. It was to launch the Blu-ray. Of the original TV show, which I absolutely love, and I'm so pleased that they've like spruced it all up and done a Blu-ray release of it. So that was really cool. Got to see that on the big screen, and as usual, they had a couple of cast members there. They had the original Arthur Dent, Simon Jones was there, so that was cool because apparently he lives in America. So it was good to have him there for that event, and got to meet him afterwards, as sometimes you do at these events, which was really nice. And also got to chat with Rob Shearman, Dalek writer. At the bar, nonetheless, I helped him carry his drinks over to the table when he told me to join him. So that was really nice. Rob's such a laid-back guy. I've met him a couple of times briefly over the years. He's always so friendly and engaging and stuff. So that was really nice. I had a nice little drink with Rob, and we chatted about stuff. And the only other thing I've done is I did listen to a Big Finish audio whilst doing the ironing, of course. I always put one on when I'm doing the ironing. I listened to a Tom Baker one, which called The Wave of Destruction, which is the first one in Series 5, and it was when they got Tom and Lala back together.
Okay.
Maybe not in the same room, but it was the first sort of Big Finish audio where they got the two of them together. And that was quite good fun, quite light-hearted. I don't know, have you listened to that one? Because you've got a few of the Fourth Doctor, haven't you?
I have got it.
Yeah. It's quite. You can tell that they've tried to do a sort of Douglas Adams, light-hearted sort of episode, and it was perfect for that. Didn't have to sort of concentrate too hard on it. It was just a good little listen. I wouldn't say it's one of the best. I wouldn't put it up there with Spare Parts or anything, but it was fun little listen. Good to hear Tom and Lala back together as well, because Tom's really hit his stride with Big Finish now. I mean, he was good in the first sort of series of releases because it took him ages to get Tom back, didn't it? But he sort of, I don't know, obviously their voices change and they don't always sound the same, and the way they deliver lines is slightly different. But he was absolutely, it could have been like a TV recording pretty much. The way, he's totally in his stride in Big Finish now. So so that was good. But apart from that, I haven't really been up to else much really. What about you, mate? What have you been doing?
Yeah, same really. Not too much. As you know, and try and watch plenty of Who throughout the week. Do you know what? I was going to watch Earthshock, but I thought, no, we've done that recently.
Save it. Oh, yeah, well, we've done it, yeah.
Yeah, just got a bit hyped up for the BFI screening. And I have to say a big thank you to our writer, Maria. She bagged me a ticket, which is very nice. So I'm really excited about that. I was going to watch it, and I thought, we've just done it. So I've watched it for that, and then, it's going to be on in a little while. It's November, isn't it? I think
November. Yeah.
So I thought, but I was in the mood for a bit of Davison, and a lot of fans are going to scoff at this.
But
I did stick on Time Flight.
All right.
Just for the hell of it. Just for the hell of it. And I'm not going to say that my opinion has changed too much. From when we did we do this bloody yonks
ages ago, yeah.
I can't even remember when it was, but I know that we weren't too into it. Our scores weren't too high.
Please tell me you watched the outtakes of Matthew getting all stroppy.
Of course,
Matthew Waterhouse getting all stroppy when he has to reshoot his scene. What was wrong with it? Again, please, brilliant. Matthew. Again from the gallery. Again, please. Yeah, and he has one line as well. You have to do that anyway. But Time Flight. It's a funny one because it ain't great, but it does have some nice little touches, doesn't it? I mean, it's one of those stories that, like you said, every now and again, it's good to bung it on and just have a look at it.
Exactly. And, every now and then you've just got to force yourself to watch something that you're not accustomed to. You know what I mean? You're not accustomed to watching all the time. And the ones that are, what's the word? That are sort of always low on fans' lists of or even high on their list if it's a worst of whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes you've just got to throw yourself into it because there's cool stuff to be had in every story of Doctor Who, even if it's sort of commonly mocked as a terrible episode. Sometimes there are. So I stuck that on just for the hell of it. And like I said, my opinion hasn't changed massively on it, but
I haven't watched it since we reviewed it, actually. One thing that always strikes me about Time Flight is it seems like it starts off really good. It starts off like it's got a decent budget, doesn't it? You've got like Concorde and location filming, and then it goes from that to looking like they had absolutely no budget to like a model aircraft and stuff, and it's a real mishmash there because normally they just about get away with it, don't they? But that one, it seems like they really did just completely run out of money. That's how I always think of it, but there is some good stuff in there. Yeah,
there is.
Yeah.
Yes. But yeah, so I watched that just for the heck of it. I don't know why. And also, I've been speaking to our friends over at Silver Screen.
Oh yeah.
And when shall we do it? So yeah, after the news and merch, we'll do a comp.
Oh, cool.
We'll do a comp. We got a couple of bits to give away.
Thanks. Peace. I can get my voice deep enough. Peace.
So we'll do that. Cool. Other than that, I've had a fairly quiet one.
Quiet week.
But speaking of news, should we land it and do it?
Okay.
Trailer. So before I play this, and it is very cool, what did you think to the fact that this landed at all? Because on the last episode, we were like, we want one more, we want another trailer.
Yeah.
Do you think this could have been timed a little bit like next weekend just to give everybody a bit of a, or do you think, no, this was perfect timing?
No, it's perfect, mate. Yeah, I loved it because I wasn't sure because Chibbers is keeping everything so under wraps. So I was thinking that might be all we get, that might be it. But we might get a few little teasers like the breaking glass again. But I didn't expect another big trailer. I hoped we'd get one, but I just wasn't sure. So no, I was like, when this dropped just after we spoke about it, I was like, oh wow, yeah. So I'm all for it.
Right, let's check it out.
I'm the doctor. When people need help, I never refuse. What do we do?
Why are you asking her?
Because she's in charge, bro.
Says who?
Says us. Let's get a shift on.
It's Exodus, searching for euphoria, searching through the mud to find the present.
I feel glorious, glorious. Got a chance to start again. I'm just a traveller. I was born for this, born for this. Sometimes I see things need fixing. Do what I can. I made it through the darkest part of the night, and now I see the sunrise. Now I feel glorious, glorious. Don't forget to click below and subscribe to the official.
Don't forget to click below and subscribe.
Obviously, subscribe.
Yeah. Wowzers.
Right. So, I think, you must agree that we've never had a trailer like that before.
So no. Again, Chibber's doing it his own way with his own music and his own clips, his own choice of music. I'd say not his. He wasn't sat on a keyboard composing it, but yeah.
Well, we don't know.
Well, maybe. Yeah.
So that was a bit of a frying pan to the face. For me, that's probably for a lot of fans as well. But and again, it's just something that we're not accustomed to. We've had all of the trailers that we've had pretty much since 2005 have been sort of Murray's sort of action-based music under the bottom, and then explosions, and then the odd little quote, odd little one-liner or stuff. This is like, generally speaking. But in this one, we've got it's sort of, a proper song, proper song that's been out there used in the trailer, and it's very sort of modern and contemporary and
a pop record,
a pop song that's been used.
Can you get it on vinyl?
But so it's very, 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 very different. But the thing that I want to find out from you, my friend, is it still Doctor Who?
Well, I know a lot of people don't like that song. They don't like the fact they've used the song, and I guess because it is so different, isn't it? We're used to sort of Murray's action music, and I personally, I don't mind it. I think it works quite well. There is a part of me that would love to have seen that trailer with some of Murray's music, because I just think it is. First of all, I really like the trailer. I really like the trailer. I think it doesn't show us much, but I think what it does show us looks great, if you know what I mean. Right. It's still keeping all the cards really close to Chibber's chest, but it gives us some great visuals, and I thought it was a really good trailer, mate. It really got me going. One thing that someone pointed out, which amazingly I didn't really notice at the time, someone said, "Where's the TARDIS?" We haven't seen the TARDIS in any of the trailers, and that worries me, because I love the TARDIS, and the fact that it threw her out of the sky, I get a feeling it's not going to be in the series much, or there's something going on with the TARDIS, and I don't know, because I like the new design as well. So But yeah, love the trailer, mate. Personally, I don't mind the music. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I think it works. But yeah, it is a bit different. I can see why people are a bit mixed about it, because it does, when you have a sort of, when you don't have specially composed music for something, it almost feels a little bit, for want of a better phrase, fan made. Does that make sense? I'm not saying it cheapens it, but it feels a little bit.
In what respect?
Because it's not, the music's not specifically composed for that trailer, so it feels a little bit like what can we use? Do you know what I mean? Right. So although I don't mind it, I can see why it can be a little bit jarring for some people. That said, that blimmin' song is stuck in my head all the time. Yeah. I'm doing the dishes. Glorious, doing my teeth, I feel glorious. It's just in my blimmin' head. Yeah, I can't get it out. But no, personally, I don't mind the music at all. I thought it was a good trailer, a really good trailer actually. But I can see why people might find the music a bit jarring. I can get that. Yeah. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to check out the it's a proper single. If you've got Spotify or jump on YouTube, whatever, it's called Glorious by Macklemore featuring Skylar Grey.
Okay.
So if anyone wants to grab the single, it's pretty cool. Overall, do you know what, mate? I think it's a really, really good trailer. I think it serves up, again, it's one of those trailers that serves up just enough to get you into it and get you excited for that first Sunday. And it doesn't throw everything in your face.
Yeah.
You know, that we've, again, I'll come back to this, that we've been accustomed to. And I still think it feels Doctor Who. It's still got that, you know, it's all about adventure and companions and friendships and stuff. You know, it's still got all of that cool stuff in there. Yes, it's a different feel. The vibe is different, using a contemporary pop song and that stuff. And it still feels like Doctor Who to me. It still feels like we've not gone anywhere from the past, because, you know, a big thing, I think it's Murray's music as well. That's also the big sort of shift towards something else. All of the other trailers, you know, pretty much all of them have all got Murray's really cool score that's going underneath, the action music that I mentioned and so on. But with this one, I don't think we've got any music in there, have we? On this version anyway, from the new composer. Is that right? Because a lot of it is, well, most of it's that song, isn't it, that's playing?
Yeah, from what I can tell anyway, yeah.
But there is another version knocking around, isn't there?
Our good friend Sammy, Sammy Steen sent it to us, didn't she? Which was really interesting to see. So the Australian version, I assume it is, has some instrumental music. Now, I'm assuming that's our new composer, but I don't know for sure.
I would assume so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not the focal point of the trailer, is it? It's not.
Well, it's weird, isn't it? Because I couldn't help but think, because I think it works quite well. I quite like it, but it definitely doesn't have the same impact. And I couldn't help but think maybe they'd put that together and then thought, should we just try it with that little song that we all like? And thought, actually, that works better. And they did that. But for the Australian market or for whatever market, they've gone with the instrumental version. It's still good, but it definitely doesn't have the same punch to it. And that slightly worries me, mate, because if that is the new composer that's done the music for it, there's nothing wrong with it. But it does make me think, he hasn't quite, you know what I mean? He hasn't got to the levels of, like, Murray's music would have blown that trailer out of the park. I have absolutely no doubt about that.
Yeah.
So that slightly concerns me. I'm thinking, oh dear, maybe he hasn't quite got that punch that was needed for the trailer. But I don't know that it's him, so I'm only assuming. And it's certainly nice music, but it just doesn't have the same impact. So that's why I kind of prefer the song version.
Yeah. No, I read you. It's one thing the trailer definitely has is that energy and that impact because of the music and so on. And I like it. I like it. Did you pick up of any cool little tidbits throughout the trailer? Anything that caught your eye?
Well, I mean, the thing is, I'm already in love with Jodie as the Doctor. I know people will say, well, that's ridiculous because people have already said this to me. They're like, well, you can't because you haven't seen her on screen yet. I'm like, I know, I get that. But from the bits I have seen, so the bit where she just says, there's a bit where she's just sat down saying, I'm a traveller. And just little nuggets like that. I'm like, I just really like her already. I mean, yeah, she might be on screen, and if she's rubbish, I'll say it. But at the minute, I'm really liking what I see. And the bit where she blows the kiss at the end to like a white room, I'm thinking, what's that about?
Yeah.
There's a thing that what's the new companion called? This is the thing. I need to get my head around the names of the new companions because I keep forgetting them. There's a bit where one of them kicks something. It looks like a Wirren to me. It looks like a ball of bubble wrap.
Oh, Ryan. Is it Ryan that's kicking the...
No, it's the girl.
Oh, yes.
Yasmin.
Yeah.
So I get confused between their real names and the character names. So, yeah, there's a bit where she kicks something. I'm a bit intrigued by that. I think I saw a spider, which worries me because I hate spiders.
Okay.
I think I saw a spider, didn't you? Or a spider leg.
Yep.
Yeah. Could it be the return of the Great Empress? Or, I don't know.
Metabolist 3.
Yeah, could it be?
Metabolist. No, Metabolist 3.
Metabolist 3.
Yeah.
Stand back, Doctor. So, yeah, I don't know. Overall, just visually and production values wise, I thought it looked great. Lots of nice spaceship shots. The sets look really good in all the clips we saw. And it just production value wise, it just looks really good, I think.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that we got told very early on, actually, was the upgrade in the cameras and lenses and stuff. And that's very evident in any of the footage that we've seen. It just looks brilliant.
It does look lovely, yeah. Any scenes particularly stand out for you? Like when when the trailer ends, is there anything that stays in your mind? Yeah,
a couple of scenes. The first one is one you mentioned where she's in this very light, glowing room and she's blowing a kiss to something and leaving. So, yeah, that just gets your mind racing in all sorts of directions. Who is she saying goodbye to? And or it could be a ruse. It could be that's actually a happy scene, and but it's made to look like, she's obviously upset about something and saying goodbye. So you think, oh no, is that like the finale of the series? Is somebody dead? Is a companion? Is it an Adric thing?
Yeah.
Who knows? And also there's a scene where she's, when Ryan and Graham, Bradley Walsh and Tosin Cole, they're in a corridor somewhere and somebody's arguing with them clearly. And someone says about, who's in charge, and they say she is. That kind of those scenes where she's in obviously a real world situation, and I can't wait for those types of interactions with the companions and other people and stuff. So that got. It looks
like they're sticking up for it, doesn't it? Like you can already see the sort of the TARDIS team, sticking up for each other and being close. So I liked that as well. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
So that might allude to the whole falling from the sky, bumping into companions or whatever. It might be a case of they've got that stuff out the way relatively early, and then for the rest of the series, we're on to sort of cool Doctor Companions adventures and so on. So yeah, it did get my mind racing in a couple of different ways, but it just looks very, very cool. And I can understand people's sort of reservations about it, just because it's so different. I think that's the key thing. It's just different to what we've had previously, and you've just got to. I know it's change. It's a bit of a Wayne's World. We fear change.
Yeah, we fear change.
Sometimes it can be like that, especially if you've had a show that's been running for so long, like we have, where things have been done a certain way. It's like change is, it's hard sometimes. It's hard to get your head around, but you've just got to have a bit of faith in old Chibbers and trust that he's doing the right thing. But we'll know soon enough. But overall, trailer-wise, very, very happy we got that trailer. I think it really did seal the deal for a lot of people. And like I said, I've not seen as many negative things online since the trailer compared to when we first had the initial, this is the new Doctor, it's a woman, and we've got a new showrunner and all that stuff. It's a lot more positive. So thumbs up.
Yeah, it is different, mate. It is different. I think it needed to be different. I think we said that. Yeah. Right from the start, it needed to be different. It's not going to appeal. It's not going to please everyone. I mean, because you never can. But I think you have to evolve. You have to change things. For me personally, and I can only speak for myself, everything feels good at the minute.
Yes,
and I'm kind of relieved to say that, because it doesn't. There's nothing. Normally there'll be something that's niggling me. Oh, I don't like, something I'm worrying about. Like, for example, Nardal. When he first joined, when we heard he was going to be full time, a little bit worried about that. Turned out I loved him. But I don't have anything like that about the series so far. Everything seems to be clicking into place quite nicely. I mean, we'll see. This is why I said to you that I'm so worried about, I really hope it's good because I want it to be good. And so far, I'm just loving it. But yeah, I just hope the series is as good as it is already in my mind, if you know what I mean. I'm trying not to get too carried away. But no, it's all working for me at the minute, mate. It's all working
good.
Very nicely.
You said that it needed to be different.
I think so, yeah.
Which is absolutely correct because if we just kept on the way we were going, then we're going to find ourselves in Series 26 territory, where instead of the BBC having faith and trust in somebody to pump a load of money into doing something with it, it's just a case of, right, we're just going to turn it off.
Yeah, or they just like with Series 10 where they really just they lost complete interest in it, The time slots were all over the place. There was no advertising. It was no longer their prime time show. Do you know what I mean? They really lost heart by Series 10. And I think, the BBC definitely seemed much more invested in this series because of this sort of shake-up and refresh or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it was on BBC One News last night. I mean, they're really pushing it, and I like that. I like that they're really behind it at the minute. I hope they stay behind it. I don't want them, I don't want them wavering if something doesn't quite go right or, don't jump ship. Just stick with it and support it, and I think we'll all be fine. Yeah.
Fewer, truer words have been said, mate.
Yeah. Right. In other news then, so following on with the sort of Series 11 promotion stuff, we had a red carpet event on Tuesday in Sheffield, where apparently quite a bit of the series has been filmed, so they say, which is good because, again, we haven't had many leaked filming pictures this time around as well, so they've managed to keep it under wraps. But so, yeah, it was a red carpet event, and our cast were there. So Chibbers was there, Jodie Whittaker was there, Tosin Cole, Mandip Gill, Bradley Walsh was there. You had director James Childs, Matt Strevens, who's the executive producer, and the new composer, whose name I'm going to struggle with, Sigun Akinola, I think it is.
I think that's it, yeah.
Yeah, so our new composer was there as well. I don't know if I mentioned this last week or whether I only just found out, but I am so excited to hear that the new composer has gone back to the original masters of the theme. Yeah, so they've given him access to the original master tapes of the Doctor Who theme to work from. Just that excites me no end. I can't wait to hear the new theme. So yeah, he was there. So it looked like a good event. Obviously, loads of fans were there on the red carpet to meet them. There's lots of pictures going around of fans getting selfies with Jodie and all the rest of the cast. What I do love, though, and I know it's unintentional, is how, like in the Comic-Con interview, Chris Chibnall seemed to be watching every word they said, making sure they didn't say anything wrong. Yeah. It just looks like he's Jodie Whittaker's bodyguard in all these photos. He's right behind her almost in every shot, just lingering over her shoulder, like just checking she doesn't let anything slip out about the new series. But no, it looked like a great event, mate. There was, a TARDIS. There might have even been a few TARDIS dotted around Sheffield. So, a nice push for the new series. And they did this great photo shoot, didn't they, with a load of 13th Doctor cosplayers.
That's cool.
So they did lined up 13th Doctor's cosplayers and had Jodie right at the front of them as well, which made for an interesting shot. Indeed. And obviously the fans didn't get to go in, so they did a press screening of the first episode for the press. Obviously fans didn't get to see that. I mean, I think it's fair to say if this had been under the Moffat era, fans would have, because they did that a lot, didn't they? They would have like a screening a week before where fans got to see it, and generally spoilers got out. Not always. I mean, fans were pretty good, I have to say. It was more the press actually, but with this, no fans were allowed in, just the press. So far, I haven't heard anything, but we're recording on a Wednesday. This will go out on Friday. I believe there's going to be some stuff put out on Thursday, so it's possible by the time you listen to this podcast, some stuff will have been put out there. But yeah, it looks like a cool event, and nice to see them, meeting all the cast and fans and stuff. So yes, it's
very cool, and I do like that additional shot that they did with the 13 cosplayers with Jodie at the front. It looks so cool. Yeah, very very cool. And you said you wanted to see the TARDIS a lot more, there's lots of shots of that.
There's lots of shots of the TARDIS. Yeah, just none in the trailer, which is bugging me. But yeah, lots of TARDIS at this event. Yeah,
it looks awesome as well. I've really fallen for this color scheme that they've gone for. They've gone away from that real sort of royal bluey, dark bluey color, and it's borderline like almost a turquoisey, light bluey sort of color. I know you're colorblind, mate. I don't know if you can see that. No, I can see it.
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
but I've fallen for this color, mate. It's
I
awesome.
have as well. It surprises me as well, because one thing I can't stand is the colour of the TARDIS during the Colin Baker era.
Colin Bacon. That
Colin
sounds
Bacon
awesome.
era. Colin Bacon. Oh God, don't. Yeah, if you look at it in Varos, it looks terrible. I hate that dark, dingy colour. Yeah. And this isn't that far from it, but it just looks a lot better. Maybe it's the glowing orange windows. I don't know.
Probably. Yeah.
But like you, I'm loving the look of the new TARDIS. Yeah,
it does look awesome.
Colin Bacon. I'm going to have that as my new Twitter name.
Oh God, that's going to be the breakfast thing, isn't it? Who wants some Colin Bacon? Colin Bacon sandwich. Oh crikey! So yeah, that was very, very cool. Very cool event. And so when was it? They said it was probably So by the time you listen to this, you'll see a lot more stuff that went on, and very cool that some fans got to go and see it. Which is nice, because that's they
did like a ballot, didn't they?
That's right.
It's free tickets, but you had to go ballot. Yeah,
that's right. So you have to throw a few little nuggets out there, please the fans and all that.
Yeah.
Right, that's it for news and merch. No, that's it just for news, should I say? I don't want to ignore our metal friend.
No, look at him out there. Little lights are flashing.
Yeah, he's excited actually today. Let's get him in. Let's do it.
Get him in.
Merch corner. Merch corner. Merch corner.
I don't know whether to be impressed or disgusted.
It's a bit rubbish, but it's pretty. It's very pretty.
Vinyl records.
Love them.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. Well, when I can get hold of them.
Well, this is it. 2 of them are on the way. I like this. I like this relationship that the Beeb have got with both HMV and Sainsbury's. Yeah, so we got 2 on the way. The first one is Cold Vengeance, which is a 10th Doctor story.
Yeah, 10th Doctor and Rose, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's a HMV exclusive. HMV only. And when's that one out? Pretty soon, isn't it?
5th of October, I think.
Yeah, pretty soon. And the other one, which is the Sainsbury's exclusive, is the 4th Doctor story Zygon Hunt. Written by Nick Briggs, that one.
Yes, that's right. Oh, Briggsy.
Right, so have you ordered these, mate? Have you?
Well, you can. The HMV one you can order online, which is good because these are limited, obviously, and they're nice coloured vinyl as well. Because this one's because this 10th Doctor story, Cold Vengeance, features Nice Warrior. The actual vinyl is green, which is lovely.
Cool.
So the previous one, I forget which story it was now. They did like a yellow vinyl, and it was quite hard to get hold of. I remember HMV got like a few in, but it was one per customer. And I can't remember how many it was limited to, 200, I think. They haven't said how many this is limited to, but it will be a limited numbered edition. So hopefully it won't be as hard to get as the previous one. I'm hoping that they're going to put a few more out there because it does look really good. For me, the HMV one's easy to get. I only managed to get the Sainsbury's one last time because a friend got it for me. I mean, I couldn't find it anywhere. I don't know about you. It was a Dalek story, wasn't it? I can't think which one it was.
The
Tom Baker one. Not Destiny. I want to say Destiny of Daleks. Of course, it's not Destiny. Para? No. Anyway, it was a Dalek one that they did for Sainsbury's last time, and it was lovely. But again, very limited. So lovely. I love these.
Energy of the Daleks.
Energy of the Daleks. That's it. Yeah. I'd love to get both. I just hope they're just a little bit more accessible this time round because. As I said, we don't know what numbers they're going to be on these. Last time, I think it was 200. But
yeah, it doesn't say. There's a bit sketchy on the details. So the HMV one is $19.99, and you can pre-order that now on the website.
You can get it online, which is good because you couldn't with the last one. So that makes it easier to get.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. The Sainsbury's one, though, you can't. You have to go and physically find a store that's got it. And unfortunately, I know from experience, when you phone Sainsbury's, even if you phone your local store, you actually still go through to like a sort of head office, which isn't the local store. So it's a bit annoying, actually. I think last time they were able to tell me if the store had it, but they're not the actual store. So
right.
Yeah, it makes it a bit harder to get. I don't think Sainsbury's are going to be offering it to order online, unfortunately. But yeah, it's good that H&V are this time around, though. Definitely makes it easier.
Absolutely. And what's cool is they haven't put a limited, like you said, on this one, they haven't put a limited number on. So if you go on the website, you can just bump the quantity up as many as you want. Because sometimes it will say limited to 1 order per customer or something like that. Now, I'm not saying you do that, because I don't want to get into B&M figure problems.
Yeah.
I don't want people to buy 50 of them and then they go on eBay for 50 quid the day after.
Really.
However, that's cool though. So if you want to buy one and then pick another one up for a friend, you can do that. It's not limited to one per person.
No.
And so as Adam said, it's the cool. I tell you what, that green vinyl looks really, really good.
It looks lovely. What is the is the Zygon one? What colour is that?
That's orange. That's going to be an orange colour.
Lovely. Yeah.
Which is great. And but it's when I phoned up, when they did Energy of the Daleks, I phoned up my local Sainsbury's, which is literally 2-minute drive away. Said, right, Doctor Who, talk to me. Excuse me, sir, what can I help you with? I was like, look, I'm after this Doctor Who vinyl record. You must know it. You guys are doing this limited edition special vinyl. How many have you got and how much is it for? What program was it?
Oh.
Yeah. Doctor Who. Doctor what? Doctor Who. Doctor Who. Right. Hold on. So she puts me on hold for like 15 minutes, it feels like. And she comes back. What program was it?
Oh.
I'm like, Doctor Who. All right, just bear me a minute. And then on hold again. She's like, what was it? A video game? No. It's a vinyl record. Music. Oh, we don't sell records. Thank you. Bosh. The annoying thing is I think about a month or 5 weeks, whatever, before I phoned them, before this was announced, did they not have a big makeshift sort of vinyl stand in the store?
Yeah.
Which had all sort of TV soundtracks and movie soundtracks on it. It had the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack on there and loads of other soundtracks. And I thought, this is, when Sainsbury's announced it, I thought, perfect. My local Sainsbury's will have this for sure because they've got a little stand. It's going to be cool. And then I think it was a week or so before they just took it down because nobody was buying vinyls from that store. So that was awesome. But if you can, it's absolutely worth phoning though, because I know a few people who wasted some petrol driving around a few stores just to be told either we don't have it anymore or we have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, so, most of the time they don't.
Yeah. So give them a call and try and speak to somebody who's not sci-fi televisionally challenged. I don't know if that's the right way of describing it, but I don't want to say thicko, but take from that what you will. But anyway. Yeah.
That's why I like it when they make them exclusive to H&V because at least they know what you're talking about. In fact, my local H&V actually has already put a thing in the vinyl section with a picture of it on. They've already got it there advertising it. So they're on the ball. But unfortunately, nothing against Sainsbury's, but because it's not really their domain selling vinyl, they don't really have a clue. Count yourself lucky that you don't collect the B&M figures, mate. If you ever have to have a conversation with someone at B&M to find out if they've got any of the stock of the figures, you're in a whole another ball game. So yeah, but yeah, the H&V one should be cool. I just don't know about the Sainsbury's. Hopefully, I'll get one.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yes, yeah. Moving on then, in other news, we've got 3 brand new 13th Doctor books on the way. It says this autumn. So what does that mean? When are they coming? I don't know when that means.
Autumn. What's that? Sort of mid-September to
September,
November, I suppose, or December. Yeah.
I guess tying in with the new series. So they're on their way soon. They've got really nice covers, which is good because we always get drawn in by a cover, nice cover, don't we?
Absolutely.
So the first one's called The Good Doctor by Juno Dawson. We've got Molten Heart by Una McCormack and Combat Magics, spelled funny, by Stephen Cole. I know the names Una McCormack and Stephen Cole. Haven't heard of Juno Dawson before, but yeah, I know the other guys written for Doctor Who before. It's possible Juno has as well. Nice covers. Quick bit of blurb then. The Good Doctor. For a good doctor, there's only one rule: first, do no harm. Is all it says. So not much to go on there.
Okay.
Yep. Molten Heart. It says you never know what you'll find beneath the surface. Okay. And then it's a bit like this. It's a bit like as Chibber's written these. It's a bit like he's can't give anything away. Just the minimum amount of blurb. And so Combat Magics. It says, how do you win a battle when the dead fight on? How do you win the battle when the dead fight on? Okay. And all the covers have basically got Jodie on the front, and behind her is one of her companions. So on the Good Doctor, you've got Graham. On Molten Heart, you've got Tosin. What's his name? What's the character name? Ryan, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I can't get used to it. I want to call him Tosin. And then on the other one, you've got Yasmin stood behind her. So it's quite nice, actually. You get the Doctor on all of them, and then each book's got the other companion. So makes for a nice little set.
Yeah.
Don't know what the price are of these yet, mate. I don't know if you've got any info on the price, have you?
No. No. Hold on. Maybe. I think it's around. It's not that much. So the hardcover, if you buy these off Amazon anyway, the hardcover's about £6.
Oh, right. So not too bad then.
Not too bad. Yeah. And the Kindle version's obviously a couple of quid cheaper, like £4 something. So not too bad. Yeah, but Lee Bindings nailed it once again with the covers. They look awesome.
Has he done all three?
Yeah, they look really very, very good.
Yeah, they do look good. I can't find it now. I had a feeling they were on Forbidden Planet. I was just having a look to see if they've added them on yet. But I don't like their new beta website, so I can't find them. I'm sure they're on there. The reason I mention that is because I had a feeling you could order them signed, but as I can't find out at the minute, don't hold me to that. But if you're listening to this and you want them signed, have a quick look at the forbiddenplanet.com website, because I think they were on there for pre-order signed copies, but I can't find it at the minute. I don't like this beta website. I like good old-fashioned...
Oh, dear, come on.
I know. I've got to move with the times.
You've got to.
I can't navigate it like the old one. Yeah, they are on there. Good. I haven't gone completely bonkers. Yeah. So they're on there. They're $7.99. 23rd of November. They're out.
23rd of November.
Do you so wish?
If you want to, just nab them. What's also cool about these is they are doing audiobook versions as well.
Oh, are they?
So you can get the audio CDs and so on, which is quite cool. So the where is it? The Combat Magics one. That is read by. Who is that read by? It's read by someone. Actually, it's read by Mandip Gill, who's in the show.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's read by Mandip. The Good Doctor, the first one, is read by Claire Corbett. And the other one, Molten Heart, is read by Dan Starkey.
Oh, cool.
So that's cool.
That is good. Yeah.
And you can get them. They're a little bit pricier, though. On Amazon, they're £22. So if audio is your thing...
Might come down.
Might do. I think they're going to be on, what's the Amazon, audible.com. I think they're going to be on there as well. So that's kind of cool.
Gary, how do I turn FP back to analog? I don't like the beta website. No, can I go back to
yes, there's a
I know there is. I'm joking.
Dude, why don't you
I don't know. I like old fashioned things. Give me a wireless and a pen and paper and and a quill, and I'm happy.
Anyways, let's crank up the generator then.
Yeah.
Get ready for our review. What are we doing this week, buddy?
Sarah Jane this week. So we're kicking off our reviews of Series 2 with the first episode called The Last Sontaran.
There's a report on the news about a village called Goblin's Copse. Apparently last night people saw strange lights in the sky.
What's going on? Strange lights in the sky, a creepy sounding village and a radio telescope.
Fancy a ride into the country? Hello?
There's something in the woods.
Run!
15 minutes, Clyde. Dad, you have to help us. Alan, what's going on?
Intruders on my ship.
My dad's got a job in America.
Are you going with him?
I will crush you with my bare hands, bite-size.
Bite size.
Yeah. Half forms. You dreaded half forms.
The Last Sontaran kicks off Series 2 of the Sarah Jane Adventures. It was first broadcast back in September, the 29th of September 2008.
Blimey.
It was written by, Phil Ford.
Yay.
It was directed by Josh Agnew, I'm going to say. Agnew, yep. And the story is thus. Commander Karg is the last survivor from the 10th Sontaran battle fleet. And it's a kind of linked to the 10th Doctor story, isn't it? The
Poison Sky and whatever the other one was called.
The other one, yeah. So at the end of that, the Doctor blows everything to beep, essentially. And Karg manages to escape in his little ship just before the mothership gets, destroys the whole lot. And his plan is to, he's on a path for vengeance, essentially. He wants to destroy all life on Earth, so he hijacks this experiment research facility thing with a big telescope, and he brainwashes the guy to hack into all of the satellites, and he's going to aim them at the nuclear sites around the Earth and wipe out all life and so on. And it's down to Sarah Jane and the Attic crew to stop that. And then sort of an underlining story to the whole thing is Maria's dad has been offered a new job over in America, and they're umming and ahhing about that. And they essentially decide that, they're going to do that. So at the end, they say goodbye to Maria and Alan. So what do you reckon, mate, to a series opener?
I loved it.
You love this one?
I loved it. I really did, actually. I was a little bit, because I do like the Sontarans, but I never find them that exciting in the new series, to be honest. They're a little bit too comedic for me. But so I was looking forward to starting series 2, but I wasn't overexcited about it being a Sontaran story, if you like. But it's the first time I've ever watched it. I didn't see it when it originally went out, so it was all fresh to me. And I just really, really enjoyed it. I love the fact it tied into the Sontaran Stratagem and Poison Sky. Just a little nod. Like if you haven't seen them, it didn't matter at all.
Yeah.
But it was just a real nice little sort of just sewed it into the Doctor Who universe again perfectly. And it was fun and it had action, and it felt, our crew just feels so assured now, don't they? Like our team are just absolutely rocking. They're so together, all the performers in this. So yeah, I enjoyed it from start to finish, mate. Little bit of padding in episode 2, a little bit too much running around. It's about the only negative I can really say about it, because I just loved it from start to finish, really did. And I thought we say goodbye to Maria in this one. I think we kind of knew that was coming, didn't we? But
I think so. Yeah.
I didn't know how they were going to handle it, and I thought it was done brilliantly. Little tear in my eye at the end. Yeah, it was perfect, mate. Just absolutely, well, not perfect because I said a bit of padding, but very enjoyable. I thought a really good start to series 2. What do you reckon? Yeah,
I'm with you on that one, mate. It just felt like, I don't know. It just felt like there hadn't been because obviously I obviously didn't watch these as they were going out on broadcast, but the way that I feel about this one is that if I was, it feels like there's no gap between the series. It just felt like they've just retained that magic, the formula, if you like, that makes the show so good. And they've just continued that. With some, as we know from the main show, Doctor Who, sometimes it can feel a little bit like, this doesn't feel like the previous one, because they've made so many significant changes. It feels like, we have to go through a bit of a mini reset sometimes, it feels like.
Yeah.
Whereas with Sarah Jane so far, from leaving series 1 and kicking off with this, it just feels like they filmed the whole lot together. series 1 and 2. It's just they've retained that awesome feel to it. And do you know what I mean by that?
I absolutely know exactly what you mean. I was just going to say something. The progression of this series, it has been brilliant. Like the way the characters, from series 1, where Sarah Jane's a bit prickly and she doesn't want the kids around her because she doesn't want to lose people, she doesn't want responsibility, and then gradually over series 1 they all come together and start solving these crimes. They get to know each other. Luke's still developing because he's this funny creation or whatever, and then series 2, by this point they're all working together. It's just the progression of the series is just fantastic. It feels it totally flows. I know exactly what you mean. It totally flows very naturally, because this is the thing I'm struggling with our Torchwood reviews, because we're sort of halfway through series 1 or whatever, and the chemistry is just not there yet with the cast. It's very bitty and fragmented, and doesn't seem to be flowing at all at the minute. Like, I'm enjoying certain episodes, but there's no flow to the series. Whereas with the Sarah Jane adventures, it's just each week, there's a little bit more bonding, or the characters interact a bit more, and it's just the progression is just great so far in this series. They've got it absolutely bang on. I mean, even sort of characters like Clyde, he was sort of a little bit sure of himself from episode 1, but in this episode, he's sort of matured a little bit, but he's still quite cocky and coming out with the one-liners and stuff. And it's just real good character progression so far.
It's great,
in the series. I'm really liking it. Yeah,
it's it also feels like you're right. So the chemistry between the main cast, even though they've gone through changes as characters. So at the end of series 1, you can see that Maria's dad is really sort of perturbed that Maria is involved in this sort of fighting aliens, and because she's in danger, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And she kind of, there's absolutely no way that even if Alan, or, especially her mum, said, I don't want you to see Sarah Jane anymore, she would still do that. And at the end of it, you can see Alan, he's getting very concerned and he's worried. And so even though the characters have changed, and it's not all, because they could have easily gone down the path of, even Alan's in on it, he goes off and fights the aliens and stuff. They've kept that realness to it. I think it was a few episodes back we said that it might have even been the first one we did, where we said that they've made a realness and a relatability to the show. They've made a realness to it because Maria's dad and mum have split up. They're divorced, and Maria's having to live with her dad and so on. And that provides an element of relatability to a lot of younger fans who have also had their parents split up or whatever. What I mean is, it's not that typical happy families, white picket fence, everything's perfect, family, home life. It's everything's got a realness to it. And then when at the start of this one, in this episode, when Alan gets the job offer, and there's that possibility that Maria's going to leave the gang, and it's done in a real way, even though and we've said this so many times, even though it's a children's show, even though it was made for CBBC, it's got a very mature thread, heart to it. Exactly.
Yeah.
And they may have thought about ditching that from the first series and made the second one even more sort of child friendly, but they didn't. They've continued that mature thread through the whole thing.
If anything, they've gone the other way, haven't they? It feels like it's sort of getting more mature, the series, in a way. It's still got that sort of fun element to it that kids would enjoy, but it feels slightly more adult. If you think back to sort of what was the one where it was a bit panto? Was it Invasion of the Bane, or was it the one after? Can't remember now, but we were sort of saying it does feel a bit kiddie, but this one to me felt a little bit more mature. Still got really fun elements to it, but sort of production wise and just the whole way it was written, just as a little bit more family rather than children, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So we still need that fun. Don't get me wrong; it still has that, and we need that fun adventure
and
element.
It is fun. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. But just that underpinning storyline, and we've seen it a few times where one of the episodes was very, very mature, where Sarah Jane.
The dementia one.
Yes.
Is that what you're going to say?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that, a certain person might say that that's not needed in a children's show, or maybe not suitable even. I'm not sure. But the writers and, RTD and Julie Gardner, they've just said, no, let's just, this is important. Kids are not stupid. They relate to this stuff and they know what's going on. So I'm so happy that they've kept that sort of additional. Sometimes it's dark, isn't it? Sometimes there's a darker thread. That goes a bit dark sometimes. And on this one, it's not necessarily too dark, but it's just have that maturity to it, which I really like. So as a kickoff to series 2, it's great because it continues that chemistry and flow. And as a story, it's really, really cool. It's got that, it's almost like a classic Who feel to it. It's got that cat and mouse. Do you know what I mean? It's it's got that cat and mousey sort of Pertwee, Troughton-y kind of era to it, where it's not all about just in-your-face action. There are a couple of scenes like that where they're being chased by Karg and he's firing his lasers a few times and stuff like that. Yeah. But it's not an all-out, action-packed story. So, yeah, I was really... when I turned it off, I watched both of them this morning. I was up quite early this morning. And I stuck them on this morning. And when I was done, I was like, exactly how I felt when I watched the episodes previous. I was like, I just want to watch the next one now.
Oh, I know, yeah. And also I spotted Bradley Walsh because they show the next time trailer, don't they?
Yes, yeah.
And he's in it. And I'm like, again, I haven't seen that story. So I was like, oh, I really want a Day of the Clowns next door. I was like, oh, no. Should I just sneakily watch it and pretend? Yeah. I mean, I could do that because I know, a lot of the things that we review, a lot of the classic Who, I've seen them all before. But the thing I'm enjoying about the Sarah Jane is because there are so many episodes I haven't seen. It's like a treat. It's such a treat. It's almost like new Doctor Who, and it's like so. I was like I was so tempted to click on and watch the next one, but I will wait because it's just so exciting having it there ready to be watched, and it looks really cool. And I was like Bradley Walsh. Yeah. I knew he was in it, but I didn't know. Yeah, so that's cool. If I was watching this at the time. Because like you, I didn't watch Sarah Jane when it was on the TV. I don't know why. I have no idea why I didn't watch it at the time. But I don't think... I think I would have assumed that Maria wasn't going to leave. Because it's like, normally if you write a character out, they're gone at the end of a series or whatever.
True, yeah.
So I'm thinking, if I was watching this at the time, I'd assume it's just a bit of a background story. And I'd probably be sat thinking, she's not going to go to America. Come on. And then... obviously she does because the actress left to concentrate on her GCSEs, I think, which means they've got to write her out and stuff. And I assume that means they've written out. Well, yeah, Alan will have gone, won't he? And I assume that means we don't see the mum again. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it was handled really well. And I just thought, if I was watching at the time, I probably would assume it was a ruse and that she wasn't going to leave because she's so a part of the team by now. That to write her out in the first episode, and I'm glad they did that, mate, because I was also thinking, as it's the start of a new series, they could have quite easily have started it with, oh, by the way, Maria moved out last week, she's gone, and we've got some new neighbours, and they didn't have to write her out. So I think it's lovely that they actually give her a little story, to herself, giving her a really nice send-off, if you know what I mean, rather than just starting it. Series 2, new neighbours, Maria's gone. Do you know what I mean? They could have done that really easily, couldn't they? So,
of course, yeah.
Yeah, it's lovely that they give her this story, and I think she's written out beautifully, actually. Really, really nice. And I absolutely loved the fact the mum saved the day by shoving her shoe in the Sontaran's vent at the back. Because I probably should have seen it coming, but I didn't. And I just thought that was awesome. I just thought, wow, that's just great. What a great moment. Because I get the feeling we're not going to see the family again. So I love the fact that they got to go out in this story in style, if you like.
Yes. And I was wondering, actually, how that was going to... Because there were a few comments throughout the story that alluded to... Because I think Mr. Smith tells them, doesn't he?
Yeah, about the vent.
Yeah, the vent's their only weakness. So you knew that somebody was going to give him a bonk on the noggin, on the vent, but you didn't. It came out of the blue for me. I don't know about you. It was really cool that she
I didn't see it coming at all. As I said, I probably should have done, but I didn't. I just thought it was brilliant because I've really grown to like that family over the course of series 1. Even the mum, she's a bit annoying, but she's also got quite a good heart to her. And so as I said, I just thought it was a lovely way to write Maria out. Gave them stuff to do in the last story that they're in. I assume they may come back. I don't know.
I don't know.
I assume that they don't. And I just thought it was really good fun.
It was, you're right, Chrissy. They've written her as this kind of bimbo-ish, silly woman, who's kind of can't see what's in front of her face. That makes sense. She's living like this, a single, well, not a single. She's got a boyfriend somewhere, hasn't she, Ivan? And but I like that they've subtly said, look, you've got this amazing guy, Alan, who's sort of loving and caring and your daughter and stuff, and you've chosen, not to be with them. And what's cool, what also keeps that realness going as well, is there are a couple of little scenes throughout the series 1, and in this one they do it as well, where there's a moment between Chrissy and Alan where you see it in her face. There's a bit where she says, "You weren't lying."
Oh, because his mouth didn't twitch.
Yeah. And
Lovely
there's that
scene.
There's that really cool little scene, and you think she still loves him. She's still.
They see, I thought they were going to get back together.
Well, this is what's cool. Go on.
No, go on. I think you were going to say the same thing.
Yeah, this is.
Because you assume they are.
Yes.
And, they could have easily done that, but I like the fact they didn't, because that's not real life, is it? But you think, there's a chance that actually they're all going to go off into the sunset together and live happily ever after, but they don't. Maria goes off with her dad, and the mum stays, and she carries on living her life. But yeah, I just love that, because it's keeping it a little bit more real, if you like. It's like, as I said, it would have been, instead of giving them the big happy ending and all that. Yeah. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah. We're on the same wavelength there. It would have been
I loved it.
all too easy for Alan Chrissy to realise, especially her, that she still loves him, and they're going to go to America together. It's all going to be happy ever after,
That's what I thought was going to happen. Yeah.
So they shunned like the Disney ending, and Maria and Alan have gone, and I don't think it's the last we've seen of them, to be honest. I don't think.
No? Okay.
I don't think it will be.
I hope not. I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him again.
Yeah. But it was an interesting thread that ran underneath, because it did provide, like you said, at the very end, I was a bit emotional. It was a bit like, oh no, we're saying goodbye. It's like when a companion leaves the TARDIS team. Sometimes it is sad. It's sad to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about this, because we have it right at the beginning of the episode when Alan gets the letter through. And I think initially they said that he'd applied for a job just at the London office.
That's right, yeah.
And it turns out, we want you to go to America. So we have, because that kicks off at the beginning, we have it all the way through the episode. Will they, won't they, stay, go, whatever. And it does provide an extra bit of sort of emotional content. Because you got the threat, obviously, from the Sontaran. He's acting on his own. He's just gone, he's completely blinded by revenge or vengeance, whatever, and he's on his path to blow everything up. So you got that, then you got the will they, won't they, and it just provides. It just went. Both these episodes went through very quick. It didn't feel like, because what are they, 25 minutes each?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So it didn't feel like 50 minutes worth of TV to me. It felt like just half an hour. They went very, very quick. So.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, mate. I was actually, when episode 1 ended, I was straight into episode 2, and it rocked through. Yeah.
It did. Yeah. Okay, so what did you think to having a Sontaran? Because in Sarah Jane, we get the feeling that there's lots of references and mentions of aliens from Doctor Who and so on. But this is quite a substantial monster/villain from Doctor Who that's now in Sarah Jane. Did you think that the impact of having quite a well-known, established monster like, or an alien like the Sontaran in Sarah Jane, did the show some good? Or did you think like, oh no, he's just there because they needed something as a mechanism? They could have used any old alien. What do you reckon? Sontaran, thumbs up or?
Yeah, I liked it more than I thought I would. Yeah, because I was thinking, okay, series 2, they've kind of thought, right, who can we bring back for the first episode? Let's get, So that's what I thought it was going to be. But I think because I liked, what was he called? The Sontaran.
Commander Karg.
Commander Karg, because I liked him so much as a baddie, as much as you can like a villain. It really helped. It was better than I thought. Do you know what I mean? I kind of felt it might be there just for the sake of it, because we've had a few stories, haven't we? We've had like a Dalek on its own. We've had the Ice Warrior on its own, like just giving their own little standalone stories. Obviously in Doctor Who, and then in Sarah Jane now we get the Sontaran on its own. So I wasn't sure how it was going to work, but I thought it worked incredibly well. I think a lot of that's down to the performance of the actor inside the Sontaran suit. Don't know if he's got his name to hand there, but I thought he was very good. Really sort of carried his performance well, if you know what I mean. He kept the episode entertaining.
Who's that? Sorry, the professor
the actor
guy.
inside. Yeah, no, sorry, not the professor guy. No,
Anthony O'Donnell.
Yeah, the Sontaran.
Yes,
I just thought he was very, very good. So I thought the episode worked a lot better than I was expecting it to, judging it from the title, because that's the one thing, you've got Sontaran in the title, so you know they're in it. So you're thinking, okay, we've got a Sontaran story. How's this going to go? And yeah, no, I thought it worked really well. Yeah, but it could have been like the Token, a bit like the Slovene. I mean, they were fun in Sarah Jane, and they worked really well in Series 1, but you kind of felt they were there to bridge the sort of Doctor Who gap a little bit, and a sort of not a token monster, but you know what I mean.
Yes. Yeah.
But no, I thought this worked really well.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's a bit of a risk as well, because when you use a baddie, like the big, the big ones like the Daleks or the Cybermen or whatever.
Yeah.
There is a risk attached that, if you don't make them threatening enough, then they feel diluted and just like a plot filler almost.
Exactly. Yeah. Quite right. Yeah.
I thought the way that they wrote this character, though, he was really threatening. You could tell right from the beginning, from the first time we saw him, that he was on a mission. There was no talking him round. There was a couple of scenes where Sarah Jane and Maria are trying to talk him down, like, you can't slaughter everyone and it's just murder. This is not war anymore. He's not having it. He's absolutely, his intent is in himself is 100% justified, and he's going to do it, and he's going to go back to Sontar, and he's going to be a hero and all that stuff. And so that, to me, that's what's needed when you use these big villains from Who. They need to have their namesake used properly within the story. You can't have this, war veteran commander from Sontar who's just going to turn up and play silly buggers, and just have a conversation with people and be talked down. And you can't do that. You have to have them. They're meant to be these war-hungry, killing machines, essentially, aren't they?
It made perfect sense, didn't it? Because they tied it into the Sontaran stratagem with I think they reused a clip. It looked like that was reused from the episode where the ship's blowing up and his ones comes crashing down to Earth. So it made perfect sense, because he would want revenge on the planet, wouldn't he? So it was just so nicely tied in with that two-parter, I thought. As I said, it didn't matter if you didn't see it, but it made perfect sense that a Sontaran, knowing what that race is like, that he would come down to Earth and think, right, you've just done that to my fleet, this is what you're going to get, like, rather than the sort of typical we're going to take over the world kind of storyline. Yes. This one had a reason, because we know what the Sontarans are like. He would do that and then go back and be all like a hero to his race and stuff. So I thought that was it's a very simple idea, but it's a great way of tying it into that two-parter.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So story-wise, I think for me it ticks most of the boxes.
Yeah, and me, yeah.
Absolutely. You've got the chemistry and everything that's not gone anywhere from the previous series. You've got the baddie, the Sontaran, who's, he's doing his thing. There's no diluted threat from him. They don't make friends with the Sontaran, any of that stuff.
And actually, you've just reminded me by saying about being diluted, because I was worried that they were going to make him too comedic. Because obviously the Sontarans in the new series of Doctor Who, they have at times been less threatening because of the sort of way they've been written. A little bit sort of comedic, a little bit silly. So when he first landed, there's a couple of sort of light-hearted moments. I thought, oh no, they're going to make him, because it's a, in brackets, kids family show. I thought, oh no, they're going to make him one of those silly Sontarans that comes out with silly one-liners every 2 minutes and stuff. But he wasn't. Like you said, he was funny, but he was also threatening, and he wasn't diluted. So I was glad that they didn't go down that route of thinking, this is a kids show, so we need to make him really silly. You know what I mean? They some people might have done that. Like some writers might have got that in their head. Exactly. Kids show, yeah. So I'm glad that they didn't dilute the Sontaran. Yeah.
No, absolutely, and it's really cool that Sarah Jane, because she's still got all her marbles, she instantly recognises the ship.
Yeah,
they haven't changed the design much from the Sontaran experiment. Was it what was she in years ago?
Yeah, Sontaran experiment.
It was the experiment, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So they haven't changed that very much. So as soon as she sees it, she's just, fear just hits her in the face, and she's like, this is not for us. Let's get Unit involved. So it's really cool that her reaction sells that. She remembers very clearly the Sontaran experiment. And what's his face? What was the Sontaran called in that?
What, in the Sontaran experiment?
Is it Steyr?
Steyr, I think.
Steyr. One of them, I think. But yeah, so that's really cool. It's really cool that there's a link not only to its big brother show, if you like, Doctor Who, but to classic Doctor Who as well, because although Sarah Jane is from classic Who, it's nice to have those little moments and mentions of her time in the show, not just the Tennant show that was going on at the time.
Yeah, I like that because she sold the fear, didn't she? She looked scared, but she also, I like the fact that she was quite cocky as well, wasn't she? She's like, I've seen your past and your futures. She's like, I know more about you than you think, sort of thing. And I like that.
Yeah. So story-wise, all good. Direction-wise, ticking boxes for me.
I thought it was very, very good, actually. So Joss Agnew is the director, and I'm afraid to say I don't recognise the name. I don't know if he's done much Doctor Who or Sarah Jane, but I thought the direction was excellent in this. It really, like you said about the pace, the direction and editing was really sharp and spot on this one. It just moved along so nicely, and it was beautifully shot as well, like loads of nice sort of angles and zoom in shots, and it was very well directed, I thought. Very well directed indeed. And it's one thing that I think we mentioned this back when we did something from series 1, that it also feels like a lot of the crew and everything are involved in this, because it feels like it could be slotted into a Doctor Who episode at that time anyway. Yeah. So the look and feel, it's something that, I guess it's that age-old thing, if it's not broken, then sort of don't fix it sort of thing. The series 1 just, although it wasn't filmed in HD at the time and it didn't have, a massive budget for special effects, it still looks okay, but it feels like it's in the same, just from its look and feel, it feels like it's in the same world as Doctor Who, which is great. I was actually very impressed with the production values of this as well. I don't know about you, but like the Sontaran spaceship looked good, just like, sort of an updated redesign, but without going too mad. Looked like it was a real prop as well, because they were inside it, weren't they, at one point? So I love it when they actually build a full size prop like that rather than just CGI. But also the bit where it was invisible looked very good. I mean, so this was 2008, so it's over 10 years old. So I thought the CGI and stuff in it really held up quite well. I think the big dish on top of the big satellite dish looked pretty realistic. There's one shot maybe where you might have said, that looks a bit dodgy, but yeah, I thought production values looked really good on this. There was one bit, I don't know if you noticed, there was obviously one day when they filmed where it was absolutely peeing it down. You could sort of see it. The picture was a bit fuzzy. It's when they're outside the, like the radio tower. Oh, yeah. And it just look, you could see, and I was thinking, I wonder how they're keeping them dry, because you can clearly see all the trees. It's obviously one of those windy days in Cardiff. You could clearly see that it was pouring with rain, but somehow the actors were all staying dry. They must have had people with really long umbrellas over the top of them or something. I don't know, but no, production value wise, I thought it looked really, really good. I absolutely agree, mate. It's for a kids show with not the biggest budget in the world. They've done really well with what they've got. It looks really good. And the effect, they obviously took their
cues from the Predator movies when they did, because it's even when he turns his cloaking sort of mechanism off, he even does it in a similar way to the Predator does in the first film, where he's got a big control panel on his arm and he hits a few buttons and it sort of fades away and stuff. So you can obviously tell that's what they've taken their visual cues from. Definitely. But I'll tell you what, mate, that effect, it hasn't dated badly.
No,
it looks pretty sweet.
The only bit that I didn't like, but kids probably would have loved it, is when he takes his helmet off. But in this one, he doesn't take it off like in the classic series. It kind of does this CGE, folds back in. I didn't really like that, but that's just me being a grumpy old classic fan. I like, but I can imagine kids were like, "Oh, that's really cool," But and also the CGI, that was the only bit I would say looked a little dated. But otherwise, I thought it could stand up for being made today. I think it just, all the little satellite bits that were floating around them that they were shooting at, and the spaceship and everything, just all looked really good. And like you said, the invisible ship looked really good.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. Yeah. So what did you think to the two characters that were working in the research facility out in the woods? So we had the Professor Skinner, played by Ronan Vibert, and his daughter Lucy, played by Claire Thomas. I would say if I had to give a slight criticism of the episode, it was their performances, really. I think they weren't terrible, but it does feel like, especially the girl as well, Claire Thomas, it feels like they could have maybe got a slightly better actor for her part. The dad wasn't too bad. He was a lot better when he wasn't in his brainwashed state, I will say.
I would say that as well. Where the hell have I seen him before? I clicked on his name earlier and I didn't recognise any of the shows that he's mentioned on IMDb or whatever, but he looks so familiar. Did he not look familiar to you? Ronan Vibert?
I'll be honest, no.
No?
No, I didn't.
It's driving me mad it was. I was like, I've definitely seen him in something recently. Yeah, I agree with you. I thought he was okay until he went hypnotised. Then he seemed to be giving a bit of a panto performance of "I am under control." It's a little bit, he kind of lost
a little bit. Yeah,
I didn't think the girl was too bad. What was her name? Is it Claire Thomas?
Claire Thomas, yeah,
as Lucy Skinner. So, yeah, she wasn't the best, but I don't think she was that bad either, to be honest.
She was okay. Yeah, it's just, they're only supporting cast members. We're not going to have any Oscar-winning things going on, but it just felt like, just a bit dry to me.
Yeah, I did it a little bit by numbers, a little bit just reading the lines, but I've seen a lot worse. But
oh yes, yeah, not too bad. I'm trying to think where you've seen that guy from then.
No, I clicked on his name earlier because it was driving me mad. I thought I'll just have a look and see what other TV and film he's done, and I didn't. I mean, he's done loads.
He's been in loads of things, like small parts.
Yeah, he's been in Midsummer Murders. Everybody's been in Midsummer Murders, but no, I don't know. I just thought he looked so familiar, and I can't see anything on this list which. Maybe it's Midsummer Murders. I don't know.
Maybe. Anyone's
Inspector
into
Lewis.
Horror TV. He was in a couple of episodes of Penny Dreadful with Billy Piper.
Oh, right.
Other than that, I don't know.
Don't know. I thought he'd been in Doctor Who for some reason, but apparently not. Anyway, he was okay. As like you said, a supporting cast. They were, I would say, decent. I wouldn't say they were great. I wouldn't say they were bad. They just they kind of did the job. They didn't stand out, I suppose, is the best way to put it. They didn't stand out as being particularly great. Yeah.
Yeah, no, read you. And we've spoken a bit about Alan and his relationship with Chrissy. And we've spoken about the realness, between the Disney ending versus the reality one. Did you think that when they left at the end, because one of the things that I thought was, it's cool that they're going because we've got that level of maturity in the show that it sort of needs to happen. But I also felt like, oh man, it would have been cool to see Alan a bit more because he's a really cool character. Did you think you wanted to, were you sad that he went? And maybe Chrissy as well? I'm not sure about Chrissy, but...
Yeah, no, I've really grown to like the family over the course of series 1. So yeah, I was sad to see him go. Timing-wise, it feels a little bit right though, because I suppose he knows about everything, and I don't know how far they could have gone, how much more further they could have gone with the character. Because obviously, if you put yourself in Alan's shoes, is he going to let Maria go out on all these dangerous adventures? Probably not. He's probably going to rein it in a bit. And so the alternative is to then have him joining in on all the adventures, and that's fine. But I just don't know how far you can go with that, because that's quite a crowded attic team. Then, do you know what I mean? So yeah, I would have loved to have seen more from them, but also I kind of feel like, okay, the timing's right. They, and I love the fact that they did get involved and found out all about the stuff, because normally in these shows, it's always the kid's little secret, and there's a little wink. We know that your parents, haven't got a clue what's been going on. So I like the fact that they sort of threw all that out the window and they brought them into the adventures, and they did get to be a part of it, sort of thing, rather than just being these, two characters in the background that occasionally got seen and, oh, that's her parents, So I like the fact that they brought into it full time. But yeah, I kind of feel the timing was right, actually. But I would have been happy if they'd have stayed. So
yeah, and good performances from them in this one. I mean, Alan Joseph Milson, he's been really good throughout series 1 anyway.
Yeah, he has. Yeah,
and Juliet Cowan, who plays Chrissy, she for the most part plays the annoying mum very well. She's supposed to be that interfering, annoying, emotionally detached mum. And she plays that very well. But there were 2 scenes that I really liked from her. We spoke about one already, when she has that little moment with Alan where she notices his mouth doesn't twitch and she knows he's not lying.
That's a lovely scene.
Really nice little connection there. But then the scene at the end when they're standing on the curb, on the path, and Alan and Maria are off in the taxi, and she's standing there with her arms folded, and she just, not even looking at Sarah Jane, she just says, I remember everything, by the way.
I loved that.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant.
And in the same way as well, Sarah Jane doesn't react. They just still standing there waving to the taxi. And she's like, I remember everything about the Sontaran. But then you think, oh God, she's going to go into nagging. She's going to have a go at Sarah Jane for endangering her daughter and all that stuff. But all she says was, don't worry, I won't tell anyone. And it's a lovely little, that's almost like a little open door almost for Chrissy.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
It's not like a Doctor Who moment where he's, a couple of times where the episodes escape me, but where the Doctor's done this thing on people where he wipes their memory, puts his fingers on their temples, or a Men in Black moment where Sarah Jane gets a device and she's wiped all of her memory. It's really cool that she's got all of her memories, so she knows everything that's going on. So that's a little door left open slightly for Chrissy to come back at some point, whether it's with Alan or not, I'm not sure, or Maria, but a really cool couple of little scenes from her. I actually liked her performance in this one more than any of hers in the series 1 episodes that she was in. I thought she was pretty good.
Yeah, it's funny because it comes back to what I was saying about the character progression, because she was quite annoying in the very first episode, and then she sort of remained, like you said, playing that slightly annoying character throughout, but without being so annoying you don't like it, because there is a heart to the character which you actually like, and I love the sort of there's this underlying tension between her and Sarah Jane, isn't there? Almost jealousy.
Calamity Jane
and all that. Again, her character's progressed really nicely from being just this annoying character to being actually a very likable character who can be a bit annoying, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So and I like that as well. I thought they were going to do a Dr. Donna on her, because they actually say, don't they? Oh, she'll never know that she saved the world.
Exactly.
And that made me think of Donna. So I loved it at the end where she said, oh yeah, I remember it all, by the way. She's quite feisty as well. She's a little bit like Donna in that way, isn't she? She's quite feisty. So yeah, I don't know if we'll see her again, but yeah, it's nice that they left the door open a little bit, I suppose. I also like the attention to detail, Mel. I just got to say this while I remember it, because that's the other thing I've loved about this progression of the series so far, is that they are so good with the little details. So when Chrissy breaks into Sarah Jane's house, she's like, oh, some people never learn. She does it exactly the same way she did in series 1. And also when Maria leaves, they've put some little trinkets out from the series that affected trinkets. But just these little attention to detail that I think this comes back to what you were saying about the production crew and how much they obviously cared about this series. These little attention to details throughout this whole first series and now the second series have been absolutely spot on. Yeah. By the writers, by production, by everyone. It's little things like that just make it such a good series.
It's really annoying, isn't it? Because when we reviewed Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS last week, we said, didn't we, that moment where Clara goes into one of the rooms in the TARDIS and it's got those supposed little nods back to everything.
Rubbish trinkets. Yeah.
They might as well have not done it.
Yeah, exactly. You either go do it properly or don't do it at all. Yeah, exactly.
Whereas in this one, I know, and again, we do have to sort of have a little bit of leeway because it's for younger audience. So perhaps things do need to be a bit more less subtly placed, I suppose. But at least it's there. Like we have all those little cool moments from all the big stories out of series 1, and you can clearly see them. It's not like you have to sort of rewind the DVD and scan through slowly and try and pick out little bits that the set designers have just hidden away for like little Easter eggs that the fans might find. They're there for a purpose. It's there to remind you of all the cool memories that Maria's about to leave behind. And it's annoying that they couldn't do that on the main.
On the main show. Yeah.
But anyways, it's very. I agree with you, mate. The attention to detail is really well done. Really well done. I could spend a long time looking at all of the set photos for the attic. And picking stuff out, and it's very cool. What did you think to the team then, the attic team? So you mentioned earlier, one thing I do like, that you mentioned is Clyde, who seems to have not. He's still the wisecracking, spits out the one-liners in the same way that he did in Series 1, but he does have a bit more.
He's more assured. He's more assured in this performance, I think.
Absolutely, It's, and it really works up to they were very close to the line, because there's a couple of times where Karga's got his gun pointed at them, and he can pull the trigger any minute, and Clyde's still having a laugh.
Calling him a potato and stuff.
It's like, see you later, Spud. And
Spud does it.
And so I think Clyde is necessary because Luke and Maria are quite not straight-laced, but they're a bit more focused on the task at hand, whereas Clyde provides that. And it is comic relief. I don't want to say he's just there just for the comedy, because he does get his hands dirty, doesn't he? He gets stuck in, definitely. But he definitely provides some light-hearted comic relief. I quite like his character.
He's a very likeable character. Yeah.
And Luke then. So Luke, less about him sort of finding his way now and more about just saving. He's got it into his head that his mum, that's her job. He fully gets that now. So in a lot of the Series 1 stories, there was that amalgamation of him sort of getting what Sarah Jane does and what they're there to do. But also we have a lot of, Luke, this is socially acceptable. This is not.
That's right.
This is a joke. This is not. We didn't have that at all in this episode, did we? He seems to have found his feet a little bit more, and he completely gets it. He knows that Sarah Jane is on the case, and if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do, not only Sarah Jane dies, but everyone dies. So he gets the gravity of what's going on. So again, his performance though, Tommy Knight, not too bad. I prefer it when he's sort of triumphant, if you like, when he's cracked the code and he's happy and that's all cool. The bits that sort of a little bit wet for me is when Maria says to him, we're thinking of leaving to America, and immediately he's like, are you going as well? He's a little bit wet, I find. But
I will agree with you. I think Luke, we need a bit of, he's out of the sort of attic crew, as you call them, which I think is a cool name, attic crew. I think he's the one that does need the most development, because he's a really interesting creation. He's a really interesting character, but we still haven't really explored that at all, have we? He's kind of just been put into the. So in this episode, he's just ultra clever. Yeah, Luke can crack that because he's this life form, he's intelligent thing. So it's I think we need to. I think they need to explore more about his character, really. I'm hoping we get to see a bit of progression from him in Series 2, because out of all of them, although I like him, he's the one that gets a little bit lost for me. Like Clyde's,
Right,
cheeky chappy, and he's always good fun on screen. Luke's the kind of finding his way, but like you said, he's a bit wet at the minute. And I think we need to see him come to the fore a bit more, and we need to explore exactly what and who he is and stuff a bit more as well. So, yeah, I agree. I still like him, but it just seems, I know what you mean. He's not, out of all of the kids, in the Attic team, he's the one that I would say is the weakest, if you like, or to put it a better way, he's not weak, but the others are stronger and have more screen presence. And I think it's because he's trying to play this slightly naive, finding his way in the world character, which he's doing. But the writers need to progress that beyond. Otherwise, he's just this kind of starry-eyed, kid all the time.
Yeah,
and it gets a bit boring. So I agree with you. Yeah, he's still good, but we need him to step up a little bit, I think.
A wee bit, yeah. Maybe we'll see more of that as we progress through.
So. Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. What about Maria then, Yasmin Page? Clearly upset that she's going.
Yeah, I mean, it makes you. I'm sure a lot of those tears were real. To be honest, I would think.
I would take a stab at the two scenes where she's. I don't know. It feels like the scene where she's off in the cab at the end. It feels to me like that wasn't filmed at the end chronologically.
Probably not, no.
But yeah, the scene where she's saying goodbye to Sarah Jane towards the end, she seems very emotional then, not just as Maria Jackson, but as Yasmin Page. And so does Liz Sladen as well. The two of them tear up very, very quickly and have a good old hug towards the end. But, I thought Maria's, she's a cool character. She's strong, she's a strong-minded person, and she knows. I think what's good about her character and the way that she's been created, and this I think is down to Russell T Davies, is that she knows who she is. She's not. Sometimes you have these strong female or male characters in shows or films, and they're strong for the sake of it. But whereas Maria, she's strong-minded, but she absolutely knows who she is in herself, which I think is so important. Because she's not moldable, if that makes sense. She's not just one of these characters that 1 week we'll use her as this, 1 week we'll use her as that. And
gotcha.
You know what I mean? Her character has been written to be consistently strong because of
what's happening.
Exactly, of what's happening with Sarah Jane, but also you can tell that her dad, Alan, has done a bang-up job of bringing her up to be confident and knowing her own mind and stuff. And so I think it will be sad to leave all that behind. But as you said earlier, though, it kind of feels like the right time for a bit of a change-up. But I think her performance was pretty good based on those aspects of her character. She has those strong moments, and she also has those vulnerable moments where she clearly is cut up about going in two minds at some points throughout the story. But overall, no complaints, really. I thought she played it pretty well.
No, I'd agree with you, mate. I've grown to really like the character of Maria during the series, and it's sad to see her go. Actually, I think it's more because, like you said, that she's really bonded with Sarah Jane, so that the sort of you can almost feel the sort of upset for Sarah Jane losing her like that. So that worked really well for me. I was thinking, you get that because Sarah Jane's kind of almost taking her as her adopted sort of daughter in a sense.
Yeah.
She tried to shut her out to begin with, but gradually they've bonded, and she has become like a mother figure to her because obviously her mum's gone off anyway with someone else. So there's that great interaction between her and her dad. There's that great interaction with her and Sarah Jane. So I think the character's really come on very nicely. I've grown to really like her, and I was sad to see her go. And I think those scenes where she's looking at her friends and she's thinking, I might have to leave them behind, I found them quite emotional because you can sort of put yourself in that situation of when you were that age.
Yeah.
You were in your group of friends, and you sort of, whether you go off to different schools or you move to another, village or town or move away, see, these things happen. So it felt quite natural because she's obviously leaving the series as well. You can imagine she's probably feeling the same emotions as her actual character is of, oh God, I'm going to leave this group of great, great guys. Do I really want to do this? So it must have been a really hard decision for her because I think Yasmin Page left because she wanted to do her GCSEs. So it must have been quite a hard decision to sort of, because she wanted to concentrate on her GCSEs, not because she had to do them, but she wanted to do the best she could. So she decided to leave the series to concentrate on them. So it must have been a hard decision. And I think, I think it was, but as I said earlier, really nice that they gave her this lovely send off. And I think it is a nice send off rather than just saying she's gone. Yeah.
It would be cool to check out the novelization of this story, actually.
Is there one?
There is, yeah. I think
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they picked out a number of stories to convert them to a book.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the guy who wrote the script for this, actually, Phil Ford, he wrote the novelization as well. So,
see, I like his writing. He's written a few good ones that I like, yeah.
Oh, he's written some cracking...
Like Phil Ford.
Yeah. What was it, Water of Mars he did for Who?
Yes, he did, yeah.
Into the Dalek, he's wrote quite a few Sarah Jane adventures.
I didn't know there was a book of this.
Yeah.
I had no idea about that.
I might try and source that, because I imagine it will elaborate a little bit more on the relationship side of things with Maria and Sarah Jane and Alan.
Do you know what other ones they did?
No, I don't. They didn't do too many. I think they only did sort of a dozen stories, but...
So, here you go. This was the 7th of 11.
Oh, 11.
Sarah Jane Adventures to be adapted for a novel. Oh, okay, cool. I never knew that. How interesting.
Yeah. So I might try and get hold of that. Yeah. And what about Liz Sladen herself then, Sarah Jane?
Yeah, well, it's just consistently brilliant, isn't she? I mean,
one word we always use is consistent.
Consistent. She is. She's just so good. I love her to bits. And it's interesting when Maria first says that she's going to leave, because Sarah gets all prickly, doesn't she? She's like, "Go on, then, off you go." And it's quite right. So you should. And and I'm thinking, okay, where are they going with this? Like, why Sarah Jane reacted like that? But of course, it's because she just, doesn't want to lose people, and it ties it all back in with the Doctor again and all that sort of stuff. But she does it very, very well. She's just great. Love her.
Absolutely. Yeah. One word we always use: consistency. She's just so good in everything, and she owns that character. She absolutely
really does.
She?
Yeah.
She absolutely owns it, and feisty and strong. She doesn't back down, even when things are about to go south in a big way. She's still fighting for, the Earth, life. She's just there, and
she makes you wish that you could be with her, doesn't she? Like when you're watching her, like in the attic and stuff, you sort of almost want to be one of those kids, don't you? You just want to be around Sarah Jane. There's something very motherly about her, something very fun, and I don't know, she's just such a cool character. Yeah.
And like Maria's character, though, she's strong, but she's also sensitive, and she's got that side to her when it calls for it. And it kind of brings round. Again, this is what Russell does so well. It kind of brings it round full circle a little bit. So when Maria very first sees or interacts with Sarah Jane doesn't want her around.
Yeah.
She's prickly then as well. And it takes her just a little while to open up. And now it brings it round again when Maria wants to go. Like you said, she gets prickly, and it's like a defense mechanism. She's like,
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then she opens up, and, so it sort of brings it round full circle to when they first met. And it was similar to that.
That scene in the end is just beautiful, isn't it? When they're hugging in the attic.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It's lovely. Yeah.
And we have the nice little. I think they did this in the pilot and the last one in series 1, where they had that lovely little monologue at the beginning. And then Sarah Jane does another one at the end, where you don't really miss people if you miss someone. Look up at the start. It's all very.
It's lovely, because it could be cheesy, but it's just because Liz delivers it in such a such a good way. It's really nice stuff.
It's very. You're right. It could be. It is kind of light and fluffy and a little bit. A bit panto, but it's not cheesy in any way. It's it's very cool. Right. Anything else you want to mention before we do our scores on the doors?
No, not really. Just that I thought Commander Karg. And Anthony O'Donnell was superb. I know we spoke a bit about him, but I just really thought he was great. As the Sontaran. I mean, we've had a few Sontarans hit the screen, in Doctor Who since the series come back, and they've all been good, but a little bit comedic, I thought. And I thought he had a real good balance between being comedic and scary. So he brought the episode up a lot as well, I thought. So just wanted to give him a bit more of a mention. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I think it's me to go first.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Yeah.
Blimey, that's good. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. 8 Sontarans out of 10.
Okay.
I was going to give it a 9. I was really close to giving it a 9. I think the only reason I knocked off a point or two was I did feel there was a bit too much running around in episode 2. But it's a real minor criticism, to be honest with you, because I thought overall as a two-parter, it was fantastic. So I was just inches away from a 9, but maybe an 8.5.
Okay.
Maybe I'll go just below, because I'm not quite on a 9. 8.5 I'm going to go.
Oh, you change it? Okay, 8.5.
Yeah, because I was going to write a 9 when I finished watching it, and I thought, no, it's not quite. Yeah, 8.5.
Okay, yeah. So for me, I thought it was just such a fantastic watch. It doesn't disappoint at all. It's obviously not perfect. There are a couple of little things here and there. And episode 2 is not quite as sort of actiony in your face as part 1. It's, a bit more, not subdued, but not as much shooty, killy.
Yeah, I was going to say, as an overall two-parter, I just loved it all. But yeah, I think episode 2 just had slightly more padding in it, just a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
But it was still really good fun.
Fantastic watch, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
What did our lovely listeners think? We've got a couple of audio clips in.
Oh, cool.
Let's do the first one. This is Sammy from Down Under.
G'day, Gary and Adam. Sammy Satine here. So, the last Sontaran. Well, Karg is certainly a Sontaran, hardly the last, but I digress. Karg is threatening, cunning, and he offers them lessons in battle strategy, which is something new and different. I like this story. I give it 8 pairs of Chrissy's designer shoes out of 10. See ya.
I like it.
The designer shoes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sammy. Let's do our other audio clip. This is Alex Kingdom.
Hello, Gary with the Big Blue Box podcast. How you guys doing? Sorry if my voice is a little bit off in today's review. I've got a cold. So, The Last Sontaran, the series premiere of Series 2 of the Sarah Jane Adventures, is good. It's really good, but it's one of the weakest Sarah Jane stories, which shows the fact how good Sarah Jane is. But yeah, I'll get the negatives out of the way. It's dull, and it feels more like a series finale than a premiere. I don't get why they didn't. If they knew that, maybe they didn't know that Yasmin Page, who I believe is the actor who plays Maria, wanted to leave the show or not before the end of Series 1. But it's odd to me that this is kind of by itself, and we really get into Series 2 story in the next one. So it's kind of on its own, and that's like a big thing for me. It just kind of feels out of place. But positives. Love the Sontarans. I think this is probably their best portrayal in the new series. I love how it links to the Sontaran strategy in Poison Sky. I love all the characters apart from Maria, because I'm not a big Maria fan. And yeah, it's a really nice little neat story. Not really much to say on it. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. It's really good. Thank you guys. Thank you. Have a good rest of the show, and I'll see you guys next week.
Alex, thank you very much.
Cheers, Alex. Interesting. So, bit of a mixed bag for Alex.
Indeedy. We had a couple of tweets. Jordan Shortman, one of our writers, said, haven't watched this one in years. From what I remember, it was all right. Not the best story to ever come out of the series, but not the worst either. Nice to see Sarah with the Sontarans again.
Yeah.
And her reaction to them. Sad to see Maria go, but it led to some great new stories. Yeah. And cool. Silent Nerd C137 said, it's nice to see a Sontaran in SJA. I love how the story follows on from the Sontaran stratagem / Poison Sky. It feels weird to me to have a character leave in a series opener, but it is a good episode overall. 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Good point. Said that, didn't you, about Maria leaving? Yeah,
it is odd to have it in an opener rather than an ending, but
yeah. Actually, we remember when we said about, this is going back a little while now, mate. Remember when we said about how Capaldi would be brought into the show?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I said, what would be a belter of an idea is to not have him regenerate at the end of the series, but bring him back for the first episode of the next one.
Yeah.
And have him regenerate. That would have been cool.
A curveball.
A curveball, indeed.
Yeah.
Wowzers.
We really should write for the show.
Yeah. Well, Chibbers listens, of course.
Yeah, obviously.
He'll pick this up, don't worry. Over on Facebook, Jason Thayer said, A great start to a great series. Great to see it linking into the main show from series 4. It had some good character development for Luke, where he has to deal with Maria leaving and Maria's mum. I love her more serious side at the end and shows another depth to the character. Karg probably is the most menacing Sontaran in New Who. I find this story very hard to fault. Just keeps getting better and better. I remember thinking that when this went out, it'd go downhill after Maria and Alan left, but I was very wrong. I hope you continue to review SJA after Series 11, as it keeps getting better. So overall, 8.5.
Yeah, wow, cool. We will.
Yes, we absolutely will. Lewis Palmer says, brilliant stuff. I really dig the fact that it's a full-on sequel to The Poison Sky, but it doesn't require you to watch it to understand what's going on. It's well-paced. Karg is excellent, and it's another fun story in SJA. Although I'm sad Maria left, as I do prefer her to Rani. Her exit was done incredibly well, and Yasmin Page does some great work saying goodbye. Overall, 8 out of 10 again. So I think the Rani is a character that pops up later on.
So she's the new. I assume she's the new girl that moves in, like the new kid that moves in. Is she a kid, teenager? I don't know.
Something like that. Yeah,
she's the new one. Yeah.
Okay. And lastly on Facebook, Joseph Howarth says, I remember this fantastic episode. Karg was a great opponent to face, served as a sort of sequel to the Sontaran two-part from Series 4 of New Who, and it does the job very well. As for Maria, she may have gone away to America, but I'll never forget. Oh, Joseph.
Oh.
I'll always regard her as a great character, someone who was brave, intelligent, and a great asset to Sarah Jane. I give this story an 8 out of 10.
Another 8 out of 10, that's good.
Another 8. It's crikey.
Yeah.
So that's it for the official Facebook. Did you have anything over on the Geeks Handbag channel?
Yes, I did. Just one actually from Charlie Turner, who's not over impressed, I don't think. He says, have you ever wanted a painfully bad rip-off of The Time Warrior with a few exceptions? Well, too bad because they made one. Oh dear. It's like they are trying to pull off the Dalek movie motive of the whole one ship survive malarkey. It worked back in Series 1 with the Dalek Emperor as you didn't expect it to happen, but since then it's gone from good to being a poor cliche that does not work anymore, he says. Maria's departure was handled well. Think that is the only good thing about this story pretty much, and Charlie gives it 4 out of 10.
Whoa.
So not a fan of this one.
Charlie.
There you go. Can't please everyone.
You can't, but fair dues though, if that's your opinion.
Dues. Yeah.
Fair dues indeed.
Fair dues.
Rightio. Next week, the penultimate story before we kick off our Series 11 reviews.
Indeed, yes.
What have we got next week, buddy?
Have you no emotions, sir? We're going to be doing the first Doctor story, The 10th Planet, next week. Yeah, saying goodbye to Hartnell before we say hello to Jodie. So, 10th Planet next week.
There we go. So I think this one... is it a 4-parter? 5?
I think so, yeah. 4-parter, yeah.
Yeah, so get your classic DVDs out for that. We'll be asking for your opinions and reviews, as always. So next week, The 10th Planet, which I'm very much looking forward to. We haven't done Hartnell in a while.
No, we haven't. I'm always glad to see Hartnell, yeah.
Crikey. In fact, we haven't done him... Oh, man. When was the last time we did Hartnell?
Just make sure we're not, because we did this with Snake Dance. You're like, we haven't seen the 5th Doctor for ages.
Precisely, yeah.
And we done him last week.
Do you know what? I don't think we've done a Hartnell story in 2018.
No, we must have. We must have, surely.
No.
Really?
No.
Oh, I can't. I don't believe it. We must have.
No, I'm not BSing you, mate. We have not done a Hartnell story in 2018.
Shocking.
That is bad.
What have we been doing?
Exactly, yeah. So anyway, get that watch, peeps. We'll be asking for a few, well, no, all of your reviews.
All of them.
Next week. Yeah. And I think we'll do there for 203.
Okay.
Thank you for sticking with us and listening to episode 203.
Blimey.
We had some great bits of news and merch to talk through, which was awesome. We're loving the new trailer.
Yes.
It has increased the speed of the hype train as we approach Series 11, which is all good. And let us know how you get on with these vinyl releases. I think it's a given that if you're after the 10th Doctor one from HMV, that should be easy to get. Just jump on the HMV website and pre-order it. The Sainsbury's one, though, I'm looking forward to sort of the treasure hunt-esque tweets that go out.
Fighting over it in Sainsbury's. It's fine, it's fine.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. But let us know if you bag one, because they're pretty cool. In the meantime, though, head over to our website, www.bigblueboxpodcast.co.uk. You can listen to all of our previous episodes on there. Plus, you can link off to all of the social networks. So you can have a chat with us. We chat lots of Who during the week in between shows. So give us a like or a follow, whatever, on there. There's also buttons to link off to the various podcast networks. Or if you're not on the site, if you just do a search on whatever network you're on, we should be on there. We're on Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, whatever. The main one being iTunes. There's a big button there. And if you are an iTunes listener, if you could spare a minute for a review and a rating, that would be awesome, because that really helps us lots and lots. But also, check out my co-host's YouTube channel, The Geeks Handbag. So many cool videos on Adam's channel there. Oh, he's on a roll. Yeah.
I am, yeah.
He is on a roll. If you've got an appetite for reviews, unboxings, convention reports, all of that stuff, just head over to Adam's channel. It's all there, The Geeks Handbag. And you're also on the socials, aren't you? Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff.
I am indeed.
Indeedy.
Yes.
So give Adam a sub, give him a like and a follow, and all that jazz. Next week, again, the 10th Planet Hartnell story. Get your classic DVDs out for that. Give it a watch. And we'll do that next week before Series 11.
I know, exciting.
Until next time, my name's Gary.
My name's Adam.
And remember, Allons-y.